Want to get lunch out there?
I'll gang up on him. I'll gang up on him. Just throw it.
What's your reaction to Dilfer's comments?
Well, I think there's actually a lot of truth to what Trent is saying, in the sense that Tony Romo is a broken back, right, for lack of a better way to describe it. He's had a long injury history throughout his career. And here's the truth of the matter. Let's say, for example, let's just say he's missing 8 games, right? And the Cowboys are 1-7.
Okay.
Is he coming back? What? Like he's coming back in and playing a guy that's 30 years old? That's an attitude that's one. But the thing is that he's going back to the first place. You're wrong. You don't have to get to this place. I think there's something coming to us really from Oregon, where they continue to go to shop rather than being this kind of structure for the play. Now you're
about how you step up in key moments, and there are a lot of times that he has not. There are times that he has, but there are times that he has not. And we certainly don't have any history to point to where the Dallas Cowboys have been exceptional, with the exception of a mulligan here and there when they went 12-4 a couple of years ago, and that was a catch in Green Bay that wasn't a catch, etc. But the bottom line is, Tony Romo has been very, very good at times, and there are times where he has not been very good. So to me, when you say greatness, I disagree with that.
So who would you rather have better than him? Because you reference, listen, that's a catch, and you know it's a catch.
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay? So it's like, is he not great because of that?
No, they
won the game in Seattle. I just, with the fumble, snap, I just, like, to me, I'm judging it based on how hard the position is, doing the things that he does that other guys can't do.
We can get back to that, because I know Max is chilling in L.A., and I don't want him falling asleep. I mean, it should have been, but he's so comfortable in L.A. and all of this stuff. But let me say this. The other point that Trent made is this. He talked about how he doesn't think Tony Romo's coming back, but he pointed to Dak Prescott. I know Dak Prescott carried the program on his back. I get all of that. But that don't mean you're going to succeed in the NFL. I'm confident that he will, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen.
So you think it's more about Romo than about Dak?
That's right.
Let me tell you something. I agree with you. And now, I don't, but what I would say is, I don't think Dak's going to fall on his face.
I agree with that.
Dak falling on his face would change the dynamic of that. And I think that's the key. I think Trent,
I got
a little excited about it.
Tim, it seems to me that if you look at the way Dallas is structured, though, this is the problem I have with saying, well, Romo never gets back on the field. Prescott looked impressive in the preseason. But, let's see what happens when teams in the regular season actually game plan for him. And the Dallas plan seems to be run the ball a lot, pound it with Ezekiel Elliott. Jason Witten will be his best friend, a tight end in the middle of the field, a young quarterback. And Dez Bryant can make some big plays and all that. But still, for a kind of ball control type running offense behind a great O-line and a very bad defense, at least on paper, to me it seems as though they're going to be playing from behind a bunch, and they won't always be able to continue to play the way they'd like to play. And in the end, Dak Prescott is a rookie, never held the clipboard even for a year, and is going to be in that situation where they may have to air it out in the second half of games. He may not be ready with teams game planning for him.
I just think, listen, all of that's true. And listen, every quarterback struggles. We'll see, a point where he doesn't play as great as he played in the preseason. That's going to happen. I guess my thing is, what's the record where Romo gets the job back?
Well, you're looking at the record, I'm not thinking about the record. I'm thinking about here's where I'm coming from. I'm thinking about what are we going to see from the Dallas Cowboys with or without Dak Prescott. What I'm thinking about Ezekiel Elliott. I'm thinking about Alfred Morris. I'm thinking about Dez with Terrence Williams, Jason Witten. I'm thinking about that offensive line. I'm thinking about the defense. I'm thinking about all the parts that are around you. Tony Romo is going to be healthy enough to get back in the lineup. But if the team is flowing, okay, and I know you're talking about the record, but I'm saying Tony Romo appears to be so fragile. If the team is vibing with Dak Prescott, let's say, for example, they're 4-4. Yep. 4-4, 500 teams. But it's because their defense stinks. But Dak Prescott and that offense is dropping 28 to 30 a game. What, are you going to mess that up? Because Tony Romo, with his $55 million in guarantees, is due to come back in the lineup? I mean, please, he could be in that helicopter with Jerry Jones flying around wherever, but he don't need to be back in that lineup. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with that. I mean, that's why what Trent's saying, when you first hear it, you go, what are you talking about? He's a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, not getting his job back, like we're overreacting. But I just think that there's more scenarios where that's the case than there are that that's not the case.
I think that Trent is pointing specifically to Dak Prescott's potential performance. But I'm looking at the health of Tony Romo and saying, and age, and I'm like, why do we need to go through this roller coaster like we've been prone to do in the past? Now we've got a backup. I mean, if Dak Prescott's giving you anything, I mean, look, Tony Romo, listen, you got to prove that he's healthy. We can rely on you. And how can you prove that in the game of football? I don't think you can.
Yeah.
Listen, if you look at the schedule, Tim, you got a game against the Giants. They could win it. They could easily lose it. You got a game against Washington. That's not unwinnable. A game against the Bears, not unwinnable. A game against the Niners, that's a winnable game. They don't really have any games in the first 4 weeks that on paper look like, well, they're definitely going to lose that game. But then the schedule gets much tougher against the Bengals and the Packers. And all of a sudden, if Romo's getting ready to play, and you're coming off 2 really tough games, and let's consider them losses, it may be as much about the momentum at the moment and what Dak Prescott looks like at the moment Tony Romo is available, as it'll be like, what's their actual record? They could be 3-3, 4-2, or 2-4 after 6 weeks. And depending on how Dak Prescott looks, at the moment Romo's ready to play, that may really be the factor. How's the team going? How's Prescott looking at that moment?
There's no question. Eric Mangini, former friend of the show here, probably still a friend of the show, used to always say, look, coaches get fired on when they win and lose games. You know, you win your last 6, chances are you keep your job. There's no question that that's the case, but I just, look, if they're 4-0, the Dak Prescott, fan club that Trent's going to start that one too. You know what I mean? He's going to switch. He's going to be the charter member there.
But that was a really strong point. More scenarios potentially where Tony Romo would not return than where he
Nothing in life worse than Cowboy fans.
All right. On that note, Tim sticking with us. Yes, sir. Our Brandon Marshall joins Colin Kaepernick in his protest, while the Seahawks plan a protest this weekend.
You send something, huh?
With First Take returns.
Hold on, I'm almost done.
After Colin Kaepernick sat during the national anthem, the question was, will other players follow suit? And Broncos linebacker Brandon Marshall did just that last night.
I think that's what it's really about, to create a dialogue, to be able to talk so we can hopefully create change, and a lot of the stuff that happened in the summer, the police brutality and things like that, I think that sparked, conversation, that sparked things. So we can talk all we want, but, actually by the words. So when he actually took a knee, when he sat down, he got people thinking, oh, hold on now, what are you doing? And then after that, he was able to say everything he felt and everything he meant. I thought about it for a couple of weeks, man, because as you see the Arizona game, I didn't do it, I thought about it for a long time, and I decided to do it the other night.
The Seahawks are also planning to get involved with a pregame demonstration. And Steve Boyer, the former Green Beret who spent last summer on the Seahawks, gave a hint.
My turn. Let's see what we
interview
have.
with Fox Sports Radio. Standing together this Sunday is key to making progress.
Hopefully it ain't paper.
It's a powerful sign of unification. And
How do you get paper, bro?
Well, whatever that shit was.
Less surprised. I think it's, the players probably saw the reaction that Colin Kaepernick received, and I'm sure that was kind of met with mixed emotions for many players, but I'm sure there was many players that identified with Colin Kaepernick and what, you know, the message that he was trying to send. So I think it probably, you know, with the
Feel better, huh?
you know, way better.
Can think, huh? Got a clear mind. Now it's my turn. Yeah.
So I would actually expect for us to see more of it from other teams.
You know, it's interesting because I've watched this stuff unfold, and just to be clear about my position, Tim, would I have sat down for the national anthem? No. However, we live in the United States of America, and under our Constitution and freedom of speech and the First Amendment, we have the right to do that. And one of the things that has annoyed me about this whole process that has unfolded is two things. Number one, Colin Kaepernick, you got a lot of people, our military servicemen and women who honor our country, serve in our country, and honor us all by doing so. Folks were offended because they took it personal affront to them, John Tortorella, Team USA, Hockey Coach, and others. If Colin Kaepernick had just taken his position and not elaborated and enunciated his position about that, I would understand that. But when he specifically states, quote, this is not about the military. I am not directing, my dismay at the military in any way. This is about brutality on the part of police officers against the black community and people of color. Everybody's glossed over that, and they've tried to change the narrative into something it was not about. That's number one. Number two, having said all of that, Brandon Marshall, kneeling down last night, others who have done it, like Reed and, Kaepernick's teammates in San Francisco, and others, we have to get to a point where now that we've done this, we need to be talking about solutions. We need to be talking about solutions. Because just making statements is getting to the point where I don't even blame the Washington Spirit or the Women's Soccer Federation for playing the national anthem before the players came out. Because just like it was Rapinoe's right, Megan Rapinoe's right to kneel down during the national anthem in support of Colin Kaepernick, it's the Washington Spirit's right to sit up there and say, well, we'll just play this before you come out. It's a private industry, and you have the right to do that. We have to put on, our big boy and big girl clothes and understand that rights go both ways. Folks got the right to disagree just like you have the right to express your
What they're about to do is just say, okay, it declares you can do it or not. And they're about to destroy the whole message that was supposed to be sent.
We need to be big enough to have... incredibly important. It doesn't gloss over the problems that we have. It still doesn't address what's transpiring within the African American community, which is what Colin Kaepernick's original core was. And when Brandon Marshall talks about social injustice, I appreciate him saying that. But we have to talk about, we got to get to a point.
I don't like them though. My old one, that's why I don't mess with them no more.
Doesn't need to be this one, but we need to make more statements to bring attention to it, but the goal has to be solutions, and I'm not hearing enough about that.
I told you, I never liked them, even when I was with them.
Megan Rapinoe or Brandon Marshall for trying to just draw attention.
Not in mind.
But I will say at this point now, it does kind of seem like there's just a lot of personal attention that's coming along with it. Brandon Marshall is getting more personal attention for this than necessarily the cause is getting. And I would agree, and I think you look at, Doug Baldwin, the way that he's been, you can tell that he's taking it seriously, he's thinking about it, and they're trying to come up with a good solution. And if what you're explaining is there maybe isn't a better representation than that.
Of unity than that.
I wanted to comment on the idea of protests on 9/11. Because I've been supportive of Kaepernick, and not just his right to do it, but the fact that he did it. There's systemic inequality. If you're protesting something, injustices in our justice system, judicial kind of problems with police. Listen, it's systemic. There are differences in per capita income and education. We all know why, because of the history of this country, that's all legitimate. The idea of the protest, I'm for not just his right to do it, but the fact that he's trying to start a conversation about those issues and address them. But the thing about 9/11,
I don't want to hear this.
and if it's locked arm in arm, and if it's some kind of a positive kind of show of unity, that's great. But when I first heard it, and I thought, wait, is this a protest? I got a little nervous. I felt uncomfortable. And while I often said, even on this show, the most important time to affirm someone's right to do something, to protest in this country, is when you like it the least. That's the real test. Some very unpopular group wants to march. You have to support at least their right to do it. The test is how disgusting you find, how repellent you find their cause. The more repellent, the more you should stand up for their right to do it. But there's something about, and in this case, I'm for the issues that they are protesting. There's something about 9/11 that this was not this was an external threat to our country. It was external, and the idea of somehow airing our dirty laundry on that day bothers me. I suppose I'm saying I fail my own kind of test of conviction in this case. I'm not living up to my conviction that that's the most important time to affirm someone's right to do it. I don't like the idea that if it's not something that is pro-American on 9/11.
Max, let me say this. I respect where you're coming from. And I'm going to go black-white here for this reason. I respect any God-fearing American outside of the black community for sharing exactly the thoughts that you shared, because when we were attacked on 9/11 in 2001, it wasn't about black, it wasn't about white, it was about America being under attack. I'll never forget as long as I live, when I saw that second plane go into that tower, I said, oh my God, we are under attack. Somebody has attacked the United States of America. So I certainly understand that. But you also have to understand that when you use the word external, what we don't address enough is that there are a plethora of African Americans in this country who feel like that word external applies to them. They don't feel, we don't feel a part of the American fabric. We don't feel like we're a part of this nation to the degree that we should feel. We don't feel that there's a level of fairness that's exercised in our direction compared to what's exercised in other people's direction. And because of that, the word external is applicable to us, and it's very apropos that you brought that up. Because the biggest, when you really get down to the nitty-gritty of it all, what it really comes down to is that you have a large segment of a disenfranchised community in this nation who feels like the external, the word external, is applicable to them because America hasn't done a good enough job of being inclusionary in certain respects.
Yeah, I would agree there with this. I read something from Admiral McCraven. If you're not familiar with him, he's a 4-star Navy SEAL, Chancellor of the University of Texas. Yeah. He wrote this, and I thought this was pretty interesting.
Sure.
Honoring the flag does not imply that the republic for which it stands is perfect. Far from it. Honoring the flag is our collective commitment that we will constantly attempt to get better as a nation, to improve as people, and to use the freedoms that we have been given to make the earth a better place. And he goes on in what he wrote to reference, in fact, that the flag marched with Martin Luther King, that it flew in World War II with the Tuskegee Airmen. All of that, it references that stuff, and the fact that, no, this is not perfect. It's not perfect at all. But what has happened is there has been
better than everywhere in the world, though.
And I think this is kind of what Seattle
is not white.
We're all going to make, we want to make this better without being disrespectful along the way.
Yeah, I want to address, Stephen, your point about the external. I appreciate that point. I think it's an important one. And I've been talking on this show about the difference between it's not America, love it or leave it. It's America, love it, so change it. I very much appreciate the idea that there are groups, including obviously and especially African Americans in this country, who feel that they are the other, that they're treated, the treatment of African Americans throughout the history of this country has been as external and not inclusionary. I understand that. But in the case of 9/11, I think that there is, we were talking about yesterday, Professor Michael Eric Dyson, his article right now on The Undefeated, talking about the conflation of patriotism with nationalism. Patriotism is, you know, nationalism is I love my country no matter what, and that's all around the world just because I'm from there and this is my team. And patriotism is something different, more nuanced, more complex, and much more important. But, and I understand that on 9/11, maybe I am conflating nationalism with patriotism. But I think if there's a time to do that, it's on 9/11. And again, I may be failing my own kind of personal test of the conviction of your belief in people, you know, affirming the right to do it, but it doesn't sit well with me on 9/11. If it's something that's protesting in a way that shows the world we're airing our dirty laundry for the world. In one way, it shows you the strength of our institutions and democracy and society, but I still don't like it.
Well, listen, you have every right not to like it, but you have to understand that black folks have every right not to care because of what black people have to go through in this nation still. It means that we're on opposite sides of the fence in terms of our thinking based on our experiences. You didn't do that. You didn't do that. A lot of white folks didn't do that to the black folks in this nation. But there's a history of victimization that black folks can legitimately tie ourselves to. Now, it doesn't mean you stand still and stand stagnant and don't work to overcome it, which is why I said we need to start talking about solutions as opposed to just lamenting the problem.
But the difference is,
you have to get, when you say
9/11, those attacks were motivated by, it's a cultural clash. It's a clash of cultures. And in that case, as much as I detest the America love it or leave it kind of idea, it never made sense to me. In that case, and I'm not saying this is what Seattle's going to do, but when I first heard it, I thought, wait a minute, is that what they're going to do, kind of protest America on 9/11? In that case, in a contest of cultures and a clash of cultures like that, it could have the appearance that you prefer the other. And believe me, you do not prefer the other in this case.
You do know, you're right about that. We don't prefer the other. Black folks don't prefer the other. It's just that when you are going through what you're going through, a lot of times you can't see the forest from the trees because you're stuck in the rut of what you're having to endure.
And I understand Mac's concern with the date, but that imagery is beautiful because we are a melting pot.
I appreciate you reading that, absolutely.
Yes, thank you for being here with us. I also want to add that Brandon Marshall will continue not to stand, and he is going to donate an undisclosed amount of money to charities supporting this cause. So he's going to put his money where his mouth is as well.
How does he handle the big moment?
You have to take everything into consideration. Why?
Please.
Come on, dude.
They sued everybody.
Now we have to
That's one of the guns that came in a long time ago. It came back because the charger wasn't charging it. It would turn it on, but it wouldn't charge it. So I had to order another charger.
For years, I've been sitting on this set for the last 3 years.
She's been waiting for the charger to come in. This one came in right now.
Beyond, I've constantly heard people talking about how they would love to debate on this show. Well, you asked for it, you got it. I'm here to announce that effective as of next week, we will be starting the contest where we will take your videos, 30 to 45 seconds, airing 2 videos per show. A video leading into the last segment of the first hour, a video leading into the last segment of the second hour, where we're going to have a near 2-month contest to find out the best female and the best male debater out there. And the winner at the end of the contest gets an all-expenses-paid trip here to Connecticut to spend 2 hours with us on First Take debating on this show. All expenses paid. Not to mention the fact that I'm also going to personally take you out to dinner, and I'm going to provide you with 2 tickets to your local NBA team for whatever game you want for the upcoming 2016-2017 NBA season.
If there is one.
Again, is that you will have an opportunity, if you are that good, to come on this show and spend the vast majority of the 2 hours debating with the crew and yours truly. You asked for it, you got it. I will provide details next week. The contest will begin Tuesday. Get ready. You'll be sending in your videos to First Take. We'll hash all of that out with you. But for those of you who watch First Take, we definitely appreciate your support. I've heard all the chitter-chat. My wishes is your command. Buckle up. I hope you're ready. To the men and to the ladies, whoever's the best in each gender, it will be 2 winners, a male and a female, on separate days, you will both be allowed to come in here for 2 hours to spend the day with us debating on First Take.
Yeah, so, and by the way, don't get overly brave. I know just because I hang L's on Stephen A. every day, it looks easy.
Whatever.
It's not so easy. I mean, for me it's easy, but not for most people.
Let me just say this, though. I want everyone to know, when we go on this road, we get to meet a lot of our fans, and we have amazing First Take fans that are so loyal and watching us every day. We appreciate them. But this was Stephen A.'s idea, and I want everybody to know that he came up with this. This was important to him, that he wanted them to get this opportunity, and I'm just so excited we're doing this.
That's why Stephen A.'s smarter than me, right there. I mean, this is a great idea, and this is going to be a great opportunity. Let me just tell you guys this. Whoever wins this thing, TV is a lot like sausage. If you really like it, you probably shouldn't watch how it's made. You're going to come in here and you're going to get it done, baby. So this is exciting.
I cannot wait. Our fans are going to bring it. This is going to be awesome. So again, thank you, Stephen A., for getting this started, and we'll continue to give you guys the details. But Mark Schlereth here with us. I want to get into our next topic here. Jimmy G and the Patriots will travel west of his Carson Palmer and the Cardinals. New England might be missing more than Tom Brady. The Rob Gronkowski's injured hamstring is serious enough that he wouldn't guarantee that he will play in Sunday night season's opening game. Take a look at this.
It boils down to the coach's decision, the medical team. So, and myself, we'll get together, collaborate, and see where I'm at.
So you're not 100%?
No, I'm not. Ever since that one time, during the practice with the Bears, from week to week.
That's Rob Gronkowski. That's the best tight end in football, good.
Week to week, day by day. Yeah, but I'm feeling good.
Matt, he legit. He legit. On this one. What do you think? Should the Patriots sit Gronk against the Cardinals as a precaution?
Absolutely, they should sit Gronk. And I realize that it's not a given that they go to the playoffs this year if they're like 1-3 after week 4. I still think they probably make it. I think they'll be better than 1-3. But if you look at the schedule here, if there's a game you want to write off early, or any game at all this season that you think, look, we may lose this one. If you're a Patriots fan, it's at Arizona to start the season without Tom Brady. They still have chances. That's how great Belichick is. But that's the one you look at. And when you look at Gronkowski and what he means to that team, and you consider what your short-term interest is versus what your long-term interest is, if you're a Patriots fan this year, I think you'll see it makes a lot of sense. Gronk is chronically banged up. And yes, he plays through it oftentimes to one degree or another, but a healthy Gronkowski, when he's on the field, is the difference between the Patriots in recent years winning the Super Bowl or making it to the playoffs, and then having an exit. That's really been the difference. When Gronk is on the field, they are many years the best team in football, and when he's not, they're not. It's that simple. So here you have a week where you don't have Brady. You have your toughest game on the schedule, all things considered anyway. He has a nagging injury. The kind that really just needs a little extra time to heal up. Be smart about this if you're the Patriots. Sit Gronk and give yourself the best chance to win, not week 1 or week 2, but the Super Bowl this year.
Well, you could say that, but as far as I'm concerned, the 16 games in the regular season, every game counts. The New York Jets are in the division. Obviously, you can't take them for granted, regardless of New England's history. You look at the AFC, the power structure within the AFC, you can't ignore that. More importantly, you're looking at the development of Garoppolo, and you're looking at the addition of a new tight end and Martellus Bennett, who has a new system to learn, Max. So when I'm looking at Max, Mark, my mentality is that, excuse me, if he can't play, I'm certainly not supporting him going on the field hobbling and limping or whatever. But if he can play the game, damn it, that's what you get paid to do. This 2 tight end set that New England runs is pivotal to their success. I mean, what are you going to do? Throw Julian Edelman in there or somebody else? You don't want to expose other people unnecessarily to the potential injury that they can incur with Gronkowski's absence. Even if you have to put him out there as a decoy, you play Rob Gronkowski. This ain't the NBA with 82 games. This ain't hockey with 82 games. This ain't baseball with 162 games. This is the National Football League. It's 16 games. And I don't give a damn what level of success New England has enjoyed in the past. You play this man. You put him out there on that field if he can go. If he
You're likely to lose anyway, Stephen A. You're going to burn that. You're going to burn that week 1. Well, look, you look at the schedule. You're hosting the Dolphins. You're hosting the Texans. You're hosting the Bills, where you're on the road against Arizona to start without Brady. Those are the 4 games without Brady. The one you are most likely to lose is this one, and it just so happens that if you sack Gronk for this one, are you conceding the game? Not exactly, but you're lessening your odds. You have a better Gronkowski.
If you think that they're not conceding conceding a game because they're not playing Rob Gronkowski. You have paid no attention to the Patriots while you were living out in Southern California.
So here's what I look at. You know, there's an old adage in the NFL, you can't play injured, but you got to play hurt. That's baloney. You got to play injured. And you know what? Beyond that, you have to play well injured. And if you can't play well injured in this league, guess what? That's why the careers are 3.4 years. Because the guys who can't play well injured, they don't get to play. So you better show up and play. You're going to the #1 team in the National Football League that blitz from a blitz standpoint. They are a sub-package team, often using 7 DBs. You do not want to get into light formations, into 3 wide formations. You want to have a 2 tight end formation. You want to be in line.
This nigga making a bid?
Because they're a smaller group when you do that.
A little bit, you
can't
got away on me too,
but it was a safety play for the linebacker. You want to present to that opponent a heavy type of formation that you can still throw the ball out of. If Rob Gronkowski is, I put a percentage on it, if he's 85% Rob Gronkowski plays, the only way he doesn't play is if he just flat out can't get it done. If it's that bad an injury to where he can't move, then you can't put him out there. But if he's just a little bit tweaked and he's going to be, you know, he's going to be a little sensitive, but he's got to go out there. He's got to go out there.
But if he's a little tweaked, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Oh, hold up, Max. Listen to what Max said, Mark. Oh, they're not. They're probably going to lose anyway. Who said that about the Patriots other than Max Kellerman? Who said something like that? They're probably going to lose anyway. Really? I mean, the Patriots.
The odds makers say it for the
odds makers say that.
I just
the
say
majority of people in the country right now.
I just say with a young quarterback, he's not a rookie quarterback, but he hasn't played. With a young quarterback, and you've got the ability to run the ball, you've got the ability to show the 2 tight end formations, you've got the ability to explode out of those 2 tight end formations and have great matchups. Martellus Bennett is a great matchup at tight end against defenses, and so is Rob Gronkowski. I just believe if he is even close to being right, you play that guy.
Tim, I agree with that. Tim, I agree with that. If he's a little tweak, whatever. But from what I'm hearing from him, you know, you got to I lead into it what the athlete is saying in terms of to what degree they are compromised. For Gronkowski to acknowledge it plainly the way he's doing, to me says it's not just a minor tweak where he's 85% or more. It's bothering him. It's affecting the player he is. And my point is, no, you never want to concede a game. But when you look at this schedule, the injuries right now, a guy chronically compromised, who, when he's compromised, has compromised the fortunes of the Patriots. That's how important he is. You have a chance to sit him down right now, and that increases your chances to make the playoffs and win a Super Bowl.
See, this is where you get real slick. Nobody's acting like Rob Gronkowski is damn near walking on one leg, and we're saying throw him out there. That's the impression Max gives. It's like he's a heartbeat of what he said. That's what Max is trying to do. Nobody's saying that. We all know that if the guy is in real bad shape, you don't play him. The point is that if he is ready to go, at least like you would say, 75% and up, you put him out there. You got a game to play. It's the NFL. 16 games. You do what you mean.
We don't know. There's no way to put a percentage on it. 85%, 75%.
Then why are you definitively saying no?
Because
would you want to give him a massage and a pedicure? What do you want? What do you want to do?
If I could, if I was a Patriots fan and I could give him a massage and a pedicure, it means he'd be healthy. That's what I'd do for Max.
New contest. That could be your contest.
Yeah, Max.
That's right.